This is a meeting in Carbondale, Illinois, 993 days ago in the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department. I got it going kind of fast, but this individual that just passed the card to me and my son's mother was then Lieutenant Matt Dunning, investigator commander of the Carbondale Police Department. Me and my son's mother, you will see her to the right. I want you to notice the deputy coroner, the so-called deputy coroner, going in his pocket because we asked him for something to identify himself as a deputy coroner, which you seen he never came up with anything. But also, I just want you to remember this was March the 24th, 2021, when me and my son, mother, she traveled from Chicago, Illinois with her second oldest son, and I traveled from Charleston, Missouri with my two youngest daughters because my son had been, somebody contacted us on the 23rd of March 2021 and said my son, Bryan Lamar, was found hung in Carbondale in a hallway in a place that he didn't reside, and everyone in each one of the apartments said they didn't know him. But it's strange for a deputy coroner to not have any identifications to identify himself as a deputy coroner. The then Carbondale, Illinois commanding lieutenant Matt Dunnings, in the beginning, when he came in, he gave me and my son, mother, his card. And the deputy coroner later signed the paper. He's showing her now because I told him I didn't even want to see it because it only been 5 days since my son's death. And he's trying to show us a paper from March the 16th, 2021, where my son was in the Samaritan Homes, a homeless shelter in Carbondale, Illinois, where they called and said that my son on March the 11th, 2021, that my son said he wanted to commit suicide. But I sensed during my own investigation, a lady that used to work there, I still have her phone number. We still in contact with each other. And she watches my YouTube. And she said that my son was trying to get up out of Carbondale because he was afraid. He was trying to get his life back right, trying to get off drugs. And he was afraid. And she told him the only way that they would probably keep him in the hospital, because he tried to get help numerous times going to the hospital. And she told him the only way that they would probably keep him if he tell him he wanted to commit suicide. That's why he told him that. But they don't have that nowhere in their records. You know why? Because they didn't do the investigation that I did. But anyway, on this particular date, this so-called deputy coroner, you notice he don't even have an ink pen. He don't have anything to identify himself. And the things that he was telling us, it was hurting my son's mother's feeling, and she was weak to the questions, but I wasn't. And neither one of them felt that I should be able to answer. That's why she left out. I shouldn't be able to answer. They watch this so-called deputy coroner. Just watch his actions until me and Matt Dunning come back in the room. But they didn't feel that I should be able to answer the question because I came down with his birth certificate, but my name wasn't on it. But they know that I'm his daddy because when their death investigation did start the very next day on the 25th of March 2021, only because I came down there and made a YouTube video about it. But when the death investigation started, that was on the 25th. But this man here, I'm still today haven't had anything to show that he's a deputy coroner. When you Google up Sam Bryan, his last name is spelled the same way my son's first name is. When you Google up his name, it would come up as a funeral director in the Merited Funeral Home, the place that they had a black mortician come pick up my son's body from a black funeral home, but took it to the white funeral home where Sam Bryan is the deputy. Was if back then the director of the funeral home. Now, what they don't like right here now is because of the questions I'm asking. This is day 5 of my son's death. No tests had been taken, but yet this deputy coroner telling me that there's only 2 decisions. Look at me looking. He can't find it. You know why he can't find nothing? Oh, he brought out his phone. Can't find no pen, or he don't have a card. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, he had 2 reasonings for my son's death. He said when they take get the toxicology tests, when they take some toxicology tests, if it come back that he has drugs in his system, that his death would be deemed suicide contributing to narcotics or drugs. If it didn't have drugs in his system, it would be deemed suicide contributing to mental health. So you can see all of this so-called death investigation that supposedly, allegedly started on March the 25th, 2021 by a then sergeant. I think he may be a lieutenant now for the Carbondale Police Department, but Jared Dunnigan. All that investigation from March the 25th to some part of August, around August the 16th or 18th, 2021, all of that so-called death investigation wasn't nothing but a suicide investigation because it started from the beginning. See, he trying to explain something to me that he tried to explain to my son's mother because they said they didn't want to talk to me at first because my name is not on the birth certificate. But they didn't have no other choice now. I sped it up like I said because it hurts me for the fact that they bring a man in here that's supposed to be a deputy coroner, don't have anything. You don't even see him have a name tag or an ID around his neck. He couldn't show us nothing to even say he was Sam Bryan. Look, he's still looking in his pockets. You know you ain't got nothing in your pockets. Now, if this man was the deputy coroner back in March the 19th, 2021, when he declared my son's death being at, I believe, 1 something, he don't even show in none of his paperwork where he took my son's temperature. When you take the temperature rectal when they did, you can get an estimate of what time of death it was. But his time of death was when the police arrived. It couldn't have been the time of death because when the paramedics felt his body, it was cold and it was hard from rigor mortis coming in. And at the same time, they put the electro pads on him to check a heartbeat, but they knew he didn't have a heartbeat. You see what I'm saying? So he couldn't have died right then if rigor mortis has already set in, because it takes almost an hour to set in. Nothing that neither one of them said made sense. Now, I want you to just keep watching this here because I'm going to show you something else. I'm trying to keep on. I might even pass it when when I was speaking because I wasn't looking at it. But at some point, the so-called deputy coroner, Sam Bryan, for the Jackson County, Illinois coroner department, he got one of Matt Dunning's cards and put his name on the back of it. And I still have that particular card. The way I'm questioning both of them, they made sure the pathologist wouldn't let me go to the autopsy because I guess I was interrupting them when they said something. When they said my son did something, I interrupt them momentarily to get the dates and times that my son supposed to did it. I'm not going to sit here and have you say that my son did something and then you don't tell me when he did it. Do you notice that the deputy coroner haven't written anything down? And to me, a professional coroner or a professional deputy coroner would at least have an ink pen or business card or some type of ID. But this man didn't have nothing. All I went on is what he said and what the commanding lieutenant said. How do you let somebody come in your facility with nothing to identify themselves to the people? Now, you see what this lieutenant is showing me right now? Now, at the meeting here, indeed, he's showing me the hanging of my son. And I asked him at the meeting, December the 7th, 2023, just a few days ago, I asked him, do you remember showing me my son's a picture of my son hanging? And he told me he didn't have no pictures of my son. And then he said he didn't. I said, well, the deputy coroner had to show it to me, but we see the deputy coroner didn't show it to me. He showed it to me. Now, you just seen what he just showed it to me. Now, one thing about this here, you notice the audio is mute, and this would be a crucial audio to be heard. But I want you to take my word for it because I want the chief of police to look to see what his deputy chief now the commanding lieutenant told me that he didn't show me no pictures because he didn't have no pictures of my son, but he did. Another thing, I went to the so-called a scene where my son's body was found when the commanding lieutenant hadn't even been there. I don't even know if he'd been there still today. 900 and let's see, about 98 days ago since my son was found hung. I said 998 days because this date was 993 days. But do you see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't even see where he got his pen from. Did he get it from the lieutenant? I don't know where he got it from. But I just want to just show y'all something. Now, the lieutenant, I want him to look at this here when he said he didn't have no pictures of my son showing my son hung. But he did. You seen who showed it to me. And I'm trying to let it stay long enough. I don't know if they showed him signing the back of his card or not, but I'm going to put a picture to show the card that he signed on the back of Matt Dunning's card. You see, it hurts me to have somebody that made a conclusion ain't did no type of test or no type of investigation at all. They didn't do you couldn't have did any investigation because the investigation didn't start until the very next day with Jared Dunning. That was a sergeant then. See, now, if my son's mother would have been down there, it'd have been a shut case. My son would have been cremated and it would have been all over with. But it's important for me to let the deputy chief who was the lieutenant then, the commanding lieutenant who hadn't been on the scene of the crime, in fact, he did show me a picture of my son. He did have a few pictures of my son. I just wants to show some document proof of this card. This is the card that then Lieutenant Matt Dunning gave me on March the 24th, 2021 in one of the police interview room. I think it was room 108. So happened out of all the interviews that I have with my son, alleged death investigation, this is the only one where you don't hear nothing. But this is what Matt Dunning gave me. And this with Sam Bryant. This is the back of Matt Dunning's card. And if Sam Bryant said I wrote this here, we can get a handwriting analysis to check and see if this Sam Bryant. But what else is mysterious about Sam Bryant? Not only did he didn't have any type of identification to show us. Me and my son's mother showed them our driver's license and the birth certificate, even though my name wasn't on it. We know the Carbondale Police Department know that I'm his son, because when they did do their so-called death investigation that I call a suicide investigation, majority of that in this folder that I'm going to show you, the Freedom of Information folder, they mention me all the time, negative stuff, saying that my son, well, I'm going to tell you about it when I show it to you, but I want y'all to look at this here again and ask Sam Bryant, is this his handwriting? And ask Chief, the Deputy Chief, Matt Dunning, do he remember giving Sam Bryant one of his cards? We seen he gave us one. Like I said, I had it going fast and I was talking at the time and I might have missed it where he did sign it. But ask him, did he give him one of his cards to sign, put his name on the back of it? And because he said, Matt Dunning said in the meeting December the 7th, 2023 that we just had in Carbondale concerning my son's death. And again, I appreciate the chief and everybody else came, but I want the city manager and everybody else in that meeting to see what I said about Sam Bryant showing me the pictures of my son. We seen in that interview, that's the only interview that I ever had with Matt Dunning. That's the last time I seen him, with the exception of December the 7th, 2023. But you seen him showing me something on his phone, and we seen Sam Bryant didn't show it to me. But I'm gonna show you something else. Now in my conclusion, what I just want to show y'all, this big old folder with thousands of pages in it, y'all. Not hundreds, but you see all them thousands of pages in here. This is what they call the Freedom of Information Act that came from the Carbondale Police Department. And I just want Stan Reno in the the city manager to see. I know y'all probably ain't read this whole thing and haven't seen all of these videos, and y'all depending on the people that y'all put up under y'all. But the people that y'all put up under y'all is not telling the truth on everything. This just is one of the many things that's not right about this investigation. You see, had the video had audio on it, you would have heard and you would have seen why my son's mother left out. You would have heard them say that they rather talk to her than me. And she said she wants you to talk to his daddy. You see what I'm saying? Now, when I was asking all these logical questions that I couldn't get a logical answer to, then my name ain't on the birth certificate. But in this death and so-called death investigation, that was done by Jared Dunnigan, he had a lot of negative stuff to say about me. He said that Bryan told some people that he witnessed me murder somebody. Ain't no statute of limitations on murder, so do some investigation and find that there. I'm ready to be locked up for that so-called alleged murder that y'all said my son said that he witnessed me do. My son had never been with me when I had to take somebody's life. Each time I had to take somebody's life, the record would show that I turned myself in. Not 2 or 3 days later, but the same day, because I know I was protecting myself. Also, in this thing, it would talk about my son saying how badly I talked to him, or how I have him make him feel little, or whatever they said. But one thing about it, the Illinois Department of Corrections would show all the times that I came to visit my son, all the times I wrote my son letters, all the times that I sent my son money. And in Carbondale, Marion, in Peru, Illinois, where my son was living, when he got out of prison a couple of times, it would show videos of me come visiting my son. Who don't criticize their child, giving them constructive criticism when they did wrong? At least I'm admitting. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nowhere in this here folder where it said all negative things about my son. On nowhere in here it says that my son was on the Carbondale, Illinois police payroll when he catch cases that he snitch on certain people. You see what I'm saying? The way he was found, that's the way you be found when a person feel that you done snitched on them. They take your shirt off to look and see if you're wired. He didn't have no shirts on. But I'm going to leave it at that. This is just one of many things that just show. Even though they cut the audio off, God gave me enough common sense and talent to be able to break down what they did. Why didn't Sam Bryant, the so-called allegedly a deputy coroner, didn't have nothing to identify himself but his word? His word didn't mean nothing to me, because when you tell me that my son death would be ruled only 2 ways, and it's only day 5 and he's still in the funeral home that you sent him to, and you pried his hand open and took money out of it with blood on it, $3 out of his hand with blood on it, and you put it in the body bag instead of the so-called professional CSI that was on the scene. None of y'all didn't think about putting that money in an evidence bag like you did the one gym shoot. You don't even know if the blood that dropped on the blood is his or not, because it was never analyzed. You or the CSI, none of y'all didn't even notice that he had blood on the front and back of his pants. Read the pathologist report. None of y'all took the time to see that he had drugs in his socks. What type of professional investigation? That's why when y'all pick somebody else, another group, let me be in on it too, so we can get somebody other than what y'all pick, because apparently somebody ain't looking at all this here inconsistencies. Peace be still.